and welcome back to another episode of the Strong Collectors Podcast. Today is a little bit different. I'm going to be solo today. Jordan is visiting family, but we've got some big reveals that came out today in the San Diego Comic-Con. So I'll go over those, and then Jordan will hopefully be joining us. Possibly there's going to be a part 2 if they reveal some more stuff tomorrow on Saturday. But we've got some stuff coming out that is going to be up for pre-order tomorrow on Saturday. So I'm going to try to get this recorded tonight and get it out for you all tomorrow morning, so Saturday morning. So if you're listening to this, make sure that you got your pre-order fingers ready because we've got a few of these coming out very soon. So without further ado, let's get into some of those reveals. So we had kind of a recap of things that we know that are coming. They talked about the Mojo set. They recapped the 20th anniversary. Those were all cool, but we're here for the new stuff. So the first stuff that they announced was going off of the Marvel What If Disney Plus. So the first, I think this is kind of a 2-pack. It's going to be Howard the Duck and Ant-Man. So that Ant-Man is from the zombie episode where Ant-Man is just a head. So that's why it's kind of a 2-pack, because Howard the Duck is a little bit smaller. Obviously Ant-Man's head is smaller, but it's kind of a 2-for-1, 2 smaller figures, but putting them together kind of makes it feel a little bit more worth it. I don't know for sure on that one, but that might be the final piece to the Infinity Ultron, but don't quote me on that because we've got some other Disney Plus characters coming up later, but maybe one of these is going to be a part of that, or maybe this is just an entirely new wave. So the next Disney Plus character that they revealed, we're going to be getting a classic Loki. So this is that Loki in the yellow and green suit with the big horns. A lot of people were really wanting this version of Loki when the show was on. They also want the alligator Loki and stuff like that. But we at least get this older classic Loki. He looks pretty good. I think he comes with 2 heads, and I think he comes with like a power-up effect as well. Then we also get a Kang. Kang is from the Loki show as well. It's the Kang, so he comes with the apple accessory, which is kind of an interesting touch. I don't think that apple came with any other characters. I'll be interested to see if they reuse that apple for other characters. I'm not sure who they would do that for, but still a cool touch. I think this Kang looks pretty cool. He's got the big kind of like cloak that's over him, but it seems like it's not going to be too restrictive of his movement. So I think that was a good way to incorporate that. Not sure about extra hands and heads on that, other than the apple accessory. But I know that when we saw Kang in the MCU, that comic version really jumped up in price, and then Hasbro put out like a reissue of the Joe Fixit wave Kang that came out, I think, just this year, if it's even come out yet, because I think it was supposed to come out in July. But now we've got that MCU version. So we're definitely going to be seeing a lot more of Kang in the future. So I doubt this will be our last Kang that we see in figure form, but it's our first MCU Kang. After that, we got kind of an odd one that we haven't seen before. So they've combined the extra, like we've seen Thor's hammer, we've seen the masks for like Spiderman, we've seen Captain America's shields. We've also seen this Tesseract before, but it's a redeco. It's, I think, a different lighting setup. They said that there's going to be LEDs in there and a little bit different color. So we're getting a Tesseract, but along with the Tesseract, because this is like a life-size Tesseract that you can hold yourself, but we've never gotten a figure with the props before. So with this, we're also going to be getting a TVA Loki. So we've gotten a TVA Loki in the past. That Loki has the jacket on. This Loki is going to be kind of more in that season finale of Loki where he doesn't have the jacket on, but he's got like a flaming sword effect. So I personally like this Loki a little bit more than the last Loki that we got. I don't know that I'll be picking up the Tesseract because I don't have any of those other props. It's not like I'm really in love with the Tesseract as a prop itself. But I think this Loki is a pretty cool upgrade to the Loki that we've had before. So if you really love your Lokis, might have to get yourself that Tesseract as well. After that, we switch out of the MCU characters and we switch into more of the comic-based. So the first comic-based character that we've seen, or that we saw revealed at the San Diego Comic-Con was, you'll have to forgive me if I butcher the name, but the Hatatsuraze. I don't think even Ryan said the name of the figure when he revealed it. He just showed the picture up on screen. So if you can't say it like me, don't feel too bad, because the people promoting the figures can't even say it either. But this is, like you may have remembered, Jordan and I mentioned in one of our leaks and rumored figures that we had coming out. This is the army builder that we're going to be getting. That's kind of like a white version of the Black Panther. So it's like all white, kind of has some silver around the gloves, silver around the boots, and then kind of looks like just a repaint of a Black Panther figure. I think it still looks pretty cool. I think it's supposed to come with some weapons. I think it's going to come in that army builder box. So you can kind of see behind me here, I've got the Hydra, the Shield 2-pack, and the Hellfire Club. I'm a big fan of those boxes. I think they look pretty cool. I kind of like that minimal packaging that they come with, so that they are a little bit cheaper. Usually they're around the like $15 mark for the single packs. I think that's a pretty cool idea. That makes it a little bit cheaper, so that it's a little bit easier to army build. You can get a few of them. It's not going to break the bank too bad. So I'm hoping they stick with that same price range. May have gone up. Everything else has kind of gone up. So maybe don't be surprised if you see like a $17 to $20 price range on those. But I think they'll be pretty cool. Not sure if I'm going to need those in my collection personally, but it may be good to have for trades for the future, just because a lot of those army builders tend to go up in price a little bit after they're not on Pulse anymore, because this is going to, if it's an army builder, it's pretty much exclusively on Pulse. You're only going to find it there or in the groups or eBay afterwards. So might be worth picking up. I almost want to pick it up just to have the box, because I think the boxes look pretty cool behind me. But to each their own. Sticking with that same Black Panther vein, we also see a new comic Black Panther. Not quite the Black Panther that Jordan and I have talked about several times, wanting kind of like that old Toy Biz with like the gold claws. This one's going to have like a half cape, and it's got like a cross like stitch thing that holds it over his chest. This one comes with, I believe, new feet for sure. I believe they said new hands, or maybe it's like there's some sculpting through the gloves that are like sculpted lines. I think it looks pretty cool. If you don't have a Black Panther in your display yet, this would be a pretty good one to pick up if you're able to find it brand new. I don't think Jordan and I are going to be adding this one to our collection, but I think it's a pretty good one. I think my favorite would still be that like previous Black Panther that we got earlier that has, I think it comes with a cape and a spear. But nonetheless, still a pretty good reveal. Seemed like people were pretty excited about that one. It got a lot of cheers when they put it up on screen. But after that, we'll get into some more of the ones that I'm personally more excited about. We got Sentry, so not one that I'm going to go rushing out to pre-order quite yet. But I do think this looks pretty cool. I definitely think it's an upgrade from the previous Sentry that we got. That one kind of had like a weird cape that was like, the neck was like just painted blue, like it looked like the cape was there. And then it just poured it onto the back. So it was kind of like it was just a weird cape that didn't quite seem right. I think the size was okay, but definitely not a great figure in my opinion. This new one looks like it's a pretty good update. It's got the sculpted like collar of the cape, so I think that's going to be a big improvement in the cape at least. The hair's a little bit more like windswept, where it's all off to the side. That's okay. I probably would have preferred just like a regular, like no windswept hair, but the last one that we had was more like that, so they had to shake it up and give us something different rather than just giving us the same head, I guess. But then this one also comes with like a skeleton. It's like when he's kind of like turning into the void or something like that. Almost looks like a Ghostwriter head on Sentry. So that's pretty cool, and that's kind of what I thought when I saw that head, was like, oh, that would maybe be a good head swap for your Ghostwriter or something. Not sure how it would look exactly, but might be something we see some customizers use. But another one, like I said, maybe we'll be ordering this one because it's a Walgreens exclusive. So if you're on the fence about it, definitely get on that pre-order, because you're not going to find the Walgreens exclusives in stores. That's super rare. So if you're questioning it, at least order it, get it in hand, make your decision then, because then if you don't like it, you can always take it back or send it back. But if you are on the fence and you decide not to pre-order and then you do want it, usually with these Walgreens exclusives, you're going to have to pay a little bit more, and depending on like how people end up receiving it, if they really love it, it's probably going to shoot up in price. So I always recommend just pre-order it and then return it if you don't like it. Or I'm sure there's somebody out there that's going to end up wanting it. You could trade it or sell it to them too. So I would recommend pre-ordering at least one for yourself. And then after Sentry, kind of building up at least my level of excitement, maybe not to yourself, but next up we got the Human Fly. So I have no idea who this figure is, but you know me, I don't have to know the figure. As long as it looks cool, I like it. So this one just is kind of one of those goofy figures that I don't know. It's kind of like Frogman, where I never knew anything about Frogman, but it's Frogman and it's goofy, and it kind of makes me laugh when I think about him. So Fly Guy, he's got wings, and if you know me, if he's got wings, I'm probably going to like it. So this is one that, again, probably not going to pre-order it because I can't imagine him selling out, especially on store shelves. Like kids walking down the aisle, they're going to be like, wow, look at all these Spider-Mans, because Hasbro's flooding us with Spider-Mans. They're probably going to pick up the Spider-Mans, probably going to leave Fly Guy behind, and then I'll swoop in and pick him up, hopefully on clearance. Maybe I'll pay full price, but more likely I'll probably try to find him loose or something like that. But yeah, interesting choice. Definitely getting into the deep cuts for Hasbro, trying to give us those like outside the box characters. I'm pretty happy with this choice. Next up, another one that seems like even more out there, if you can imagine that, than the Human Fly, is Razorback. So again, maybe I'm wrong here, but I have no idea who this character is. If you don't know who it is either, imagine some dude with like a giant Pumbaa mask from Disney World. It's like a big warthog on top of his head, and I can't really tell you much more than that because I don't know who he is. But still, like I said, we're getting those kind of like out of the box characters. It's kind of nice to see a character that's not Spider-Man or Captain America, Hulk, kind of those ones that we've been getting over and over and over. So whether you like it or not, it's just nice to see some variety. Still, he's both of these two, the Human Fly and Razorback, are both Spider-Man villains. So we're still in that same Spider-Man vein, but we're branching out a little bit. So that's cool. Then after that, sticking with some of those Spider-Man themed characters, we're getting into some symbiotes. And now we've gotten Phage and Lasher and Scream before. And then a lot of people have been wanting to finish that. I believe it's Future Foundations, something like that. That team of symbiotes. Freedom Foundation? I don't remember. But that team. So then we get Agony, who's another female in the symbiote team. Kind of that pink and black symbiote. This one looks pretty cool. Double pinless elbows and knees. So it's going to have pretty good articulation. I believe the Scream maybe had just single jointed elbows and maybe pins in the knees. I'm not 100% sure. I have it up in the closet, but that was a pretty good figure too. But I think this will be an even more cool figure because, like I said, it's going to have that improved Shriek body mold. So people really like that articulation on her. And then getting into a larger symbiote now, we got the reveal of Riot. So this one I think is using the Monster Venom body mold. So it's going to be on that bigger scale symbiote. And then it's also got kind of like an axe for an arm. Not sure if there's going to be a swappable arm there where you can have a regular hand or if it's just only an axe. But I mean, if you have this figure, I personally am only ever going to display it with that axe. So to each their own, but I think it looks pretty cool. I honestly am a little bit more excited about Agony, even though Riot is a substantial figure. I love substantial figures, and he's got a weapon for in hand. But his face just looks a little bit strange to me. I guess that's how he's drawn in the comics, but I might just be more used to that like Venom type face, so that might be what's throwing me off on him. But probably not going to pre-order those two. I'm not 100% sure if those are going to be part of a wave or if those are going to be a 2-pack or if Riot's a Build-A-Figure, how that's going to work. I believe they said Riot was a Build-A-Figure, but don't hold me to it. So far, none of the ones that we've talked about are going to be up for pre-order. So they're going to have probably more details with those coming out later. And I don't think they have any like official product shots released of those yet. So they don't kind of show what's going to be in the package. Or at least I haven't seen any of those yet. So more details on all of those to come. I think, like I said, Sentry is going to be a Walgreens exclusive. And then I'm sure the Army Builder is going to be a Hasbro Pulse exclusive. And that's the only information we have on any of those other ones. I think maybe they said the Tesseract was going to be also a fan channel exclusive, if not a Hasbro exclusive. But anyway, getting onto some of the ones that we're going to have for pre-order, depending on when you're listening to this, I'm probably going to try to get this recorded. Obviously, I'm recording it tonight, posting it Saturday morning. So if you're listening to this Saturday morning, the pre-orders for the following figures are going to be up Saturday afternoon. I believe it's 4 p.m. Eastern time. Don't hold me to that. Kind of gets confusing where I'm in Central time, so I can't remember if I'm going to pre-order it at 4 p.m. Central time and it's 5 p.m. Eastern time, or if it's the other. But be checking tomorrow afternoon. Make sure you're on Hasbro checking it out. But the following figures are going to be up for pre-order, so if you're interested, get on it. We've got the retro-carded Spiderman series Scorpion. So he's got the bendy wire tail, and obviously in that like animated series kind of style. So it's kind of a lighter green. He's got that half mask like he has in the comics. I personally like that mask a lot more. I'm not a huge fan of the previous Scorpion that we got that kind of has like the full mask, but then he's got like kind of strange, like really big eyes where it's just not the Scorpion that I know. I know him more from the cartoon, so that's kind of how I want my Scorpion to look. He's going to be in the regular card, so if I pull for YouTube audience, so you can kind of see how there's like the extra spot for the hands on the edge of the package. Scorpion's going to be pushed up all the way to the side, and then his tail's kind of weaved back and forth so that he's able to fit in the retro blister card. I think the packaging looks super cool. You know, I'm a sucker for the retro carded figures. I've got my wall to the side here is all retro carded figures. I try to leave those in the box as long as possible until I'm ready to display them with a team, just because I think that looks like, it just looks like the animated series, kind of takes you back, and it's super fun. So that one is going to be up for pre-order tomorrow, along with another retro-carded X-Men. So this X-Men has probably been teased several times. We got the hint in one of the previous Hasbro Pulse live streams where Dwight was showing off his laundry, folding it, and then he had like a really small jacket. You heard Jordan and I kind of talk about this in the leaks and rumors, and then you heard us kind of guess this after that, where we said it's either going to be Bruce Banner or who it actually is the retro-carded Beast. So you're going to be getting, I believe it's an extra head, an extra pair of hands, I think it's 2 beakers, a pair of glasses, and a cloth lab coat. So this Beast is going to be packed in with quite a bit of accessories. Not sure on the price point. I'm guessing it's going to be similar to what we had with the Apocalypse. and I think this is the same beast. Pretty much everything is the same except for the head sculpt, and that's same as the Caliban wave. So what you're going to be getting is like the whole lab coat, or like beast in the lab, kind of trying to perfect a cure for the mutant gene, or kind of whatever you want him doing. I think these might be the same accessories, like the same like beaker type setup as what comes with the lizard, but it might be slightly different. But I would assume they would probably try to reuse that, just because it's, why would you want to remake an entire beaker when you already have one for the lizard? But it's going to be on that like retro X-Men, the uncanny, like the yellowish orange kind of background. I don't have any of those around to show you, but you probably know what those look like. If not, you can go in, look it up. It's going to be in the store soon. It looks pretty cool. I don't think it looks quite as cool as the Spider-Man retro cards, but still pretty good. This is one that Jordan is pretty excited about. I don't think this is one that I'm going to pre-order myself. Still not quite the beast that I love. I mean, it does look similar to the cartoons, especially with the lab coat for sure. But I think I'm kind of giving up on the VHS style X-Men, so it kind of hinders my X-Men team. I'm pretty happy with more of my like non-main characters. Like I love my Bishop, Multiple Man, Nightcrawler. Those are some of the characters I really like, so I may stick with those and then just leave out the other X-Men until I find something else that I really like. Like I'll probably try to find a Cyclops. I've got a Wolverine. Not a fan of the VHS Jean Grey, so I'm going to pass on her. And if I'm not getting the rest of the team, probably also going to pass on this beast. But Jordan's definitely picking one up, so I'm sure he'll be able to tell us all about it when he gets it. And then, so those two, Scorpion and Beast, are going to be fan channel exclusives and Amazon exclusives. So you'll be able to find them on Amazon. If you've got Amazon Prime, you can get free shipping. And then they'll be on like all those other ones like Big Bad Toy Store, Hasbro Pulse, Entertainment Earth, Nerdzoic, things like that. But that's not all, because then we also got something I was pretty surprised by. We got a 3-pack of Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends. So you've probably heard Jordan and I talk about the like Firestar when I got her, because she's right back here behind me. So I think I showed off Firestar when I got her. Pretty cool character. I was pretty excited about it. I haven't opened her up yet because I wanted to wait to display my Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends. I had a Spider-Man and ended up, I don't really like that old like retro Pizza Spider-Man body, so I ended up selling him. So I actually don't even have a regular Spider-Man in my collection right now, which is fine by me because we've got about 1 billion of them coming out. So one of those will work for my regular Spider-Man. And this Firestar looks almost exactly the same. So the new 3-pack Firestar, I think it comes with the same head, same hands, possibly. Don't completely quote me on that, but it is actually an update in at least the arms, because it's going to be on the Shriek body mold. So I'm not sure if... Nope, it'll be different legs too, because the old Firestar that I have here has pins in the knees, but the new Firestar in this 3-pack is going to have pinless elbows and pinless knees, double jointed on both, because this old Firestar is only single jointed elbows. So Firestar is going to be an upgrade for sure. I'm not 100% sure on which Spider-Man this is going to be. I don't think it's a completely new Spider-Man. I think I had heard somebody say that it was the same Spider-Man as what's coming out in the Spider-Man and Spinneret 2-pack, but it doesn't have the toe joint, which would be odd if that was the same Spider-Man, but then they took away a toe joint and gave it a different foot. But it definitely does. It's not the retro, and I don't think it's definitely not the retro pizza anyway. I don't think it's the retro, like original retro Spider-Man, but I'm not sure what the differences are. I know that he comes with extra hands. I don't think he comes with an extra head, and he's kind of got like more of the like squintier eyes, but with more black around the eyes, and it looks a little bit closer to what we just talked about in our last episode with the retro animated series Spider-Man. So maybe it's a similar head to that. I didn't see a ton of details about it. But then the third figure in that group is Iceman. And Iceman, I have the old retro Iceman here with me. So this one is, I think, going to be the exact same as the old retro. It's just going to be a repaint. So the new 3-pack is going to come with cel-shaded Iceman, which I'm actually pretty excited about. I wish they would have done some more cel shading because I think it kind of really adds to that like old cartoon look that Iceman had. The one thing I really wish that they would have done is given him a different head, because when I think of Spider-Man and his amazing friends and that Iceman, I think of him as like the jokester of the team, always cracking jokes, always laughing. So I think it would have been cool if we had added like a smiling face to that Iceman that's coming out. Not a deal breaker necessarily. I do really like the cel shading on it. He comes with the same like ice sliding effect. Just I think it's a slightly different paint job on that. But yeah, like I said, I think a smiling face would have been cool because even when they're like fighting the villains or whatever, like Iceman's the one that's always cracking jokes. Spider-Man does too, but like Iceman's really the funny guy of the group. So I would have preferred that, but I think this is one that I'm actually going to probably pick up. I'm probably going to try to sell my Iceman and my Firestar because I've originally, when I first thought that the Firestar was the exact same figure, I was like, there's no real reason to get another 3-pack to have another Spider-Man. Iceman, I was tempted by, but he wasn't smiling, so I wasn't completely sold. And then it just didn't make as much sense. But now that it's going to be an updated Firestar, better posability with that, I do like the cel shading, and a regular Spider-Man, I'll give him a chance. If I don't like him, there's no shortage of people buying Spider-Man. So maybe I'll end up selling Spider-Man off the pack, but I am excited to get those other two for sure. And it comes in a pretty cool box. Like it's kind of that sealed box, no plastic packaging, but it's the figures kind of running at you in that like Spider-Man and his amazing friends cartoon style, but they use the figures for the art. So I think it's kind of cool. And then, so that's also up for pre-order tomorrow. That's a Hasbro exclusive, so only going to find that on Hasbro Pulse. And then we kind of got into like the Galactus talk. We just talked about that on the last episode a little bit more in depth with what's coming with him. Like Jordan and I have been saying, we can't just be getting a Silver Surfer, a Morg, a Frankie Ray Nova, and a Firelord. There's more Heralds out there, and we finally today heard about the 2-pack that's coming out, also up for pre-order on Hasbro Pulse tomorrow, and that's going to include Terrax and the Fallen one. So this is a 2-pack that I'm pretty excited about. I've been waiting for more Heralds to come. I had the Terrax before, but I was pretty confident that we were going to get a new one, so I let my Terrax go, and this one coming out is, I think it's the exact same figure, just a slightly different repaint. Like it looks like a little bit darker in the grays, or like maybe a darker wash. But yeah, comes with the same axe, I think. Not really any differences that I could see from the pictures anyway, and they didn't mention any differences. Still, I thought that Terrax was a really good figure. I was pretty surprised with an early Hasbro Build-A-Figure that was as good as that Terrax was. And then the Fallen one is a pretty simple looking design. He's got kind of just like a single color body that has kind of a translucent, sparkly blue hair. And then he comes with the same power-up effects as like the 2-pack Havoc and Polaris had. Tons of other characters have also come with that. But it's just kind of those like circles with the bubbles. And that's also going to be blue, kind of matching the same style as his hair. Not sure who the Fallen one is. Haven't read anything with him in it before, but pretty cool looking figure, I think, and pretty excited to have both of those. And they didn't say during the live stream when those come out, but I would sure hope they come out before Galactus does. So, yeah, excited to get those. I'm definitely going to be pre-ordering at least one of those, possibly 2 to have as a trade for other things. You know, I'm trying to find more Mythic Legions. So maybe I can use that to help me find some other ones that I'd missed out in the past that people are looking for. But yeah, I think that 2-pack was a great idea. Pretty happy with the selection. We definitely needed a Terrax for sure. Like I said before, it would have been cool to have him come with like a deluxe or something where he can ride in on his boulder, because that's how I've always seen him like drawn in like the trading cards, and in the comics he's always riding on a board, or Silver Surfer's got his surfboard. Terrax is riding in on like a flying boulder, but it won't be too hard. I'm sure you could make a custom boulder out of like styrofoam or something. But yeah, then that was all of the things that we got to see the figures of. Like I said, the 2-pack for Galactus's Heralds, the 3-pack of Spiderman and his Amazing Friends, Beast, and Scorpion are all going to be up for pre-order on Saturday. And then the final, not really a announcement of a figure, but we got to see kind of the theme of what we are going to get in our next HasLab. So they kind of just showed a logo with Ghostwriter in the HasLab project. So what I think most people are assuming is that this is going to be the, I can't remember what the Ghostwriter's name is, not Johnny Blaze, but this is the Ghostwriter that kind of has that like flaming car. I remember Boog Nice talked about this in his interview with the Hasbro team of how cool it is to get Ghostwriter with the bike, but how could they do a Ghostwriter with the car, because it would be obviously larger than a motorcycle. And I think this is kind of the only way that you'd really get that car. However, this doesn't scream like HasLab like Galactus. So with Galactus being $400 purchase, I have to imagine that this car would be, I at least hope that it would be on the cheaper side. So maybe more in that like $200 range. They didn't really give any details. They just showed the picture. So more details on that, I'm sure, are going to come on like a Hasbro Pulse live stream. But for now, we just get to kind of speculate as to what that'll be, what tiers could be unlocked with it. And I think it's a pretty cool figure. Not sure if I need one in my collection. I think Jordan will probably say the same. Neither one of us are crazy Ghostwriter fans, and I've never read anything with that Ghostwriter in it. I think I might have that like variant comic cover where it's got that Ghostwriter with the car on there, so that would be kind of cool to have to display those next to each other. Still though, I don't think it's ever a bad idea to get a HasLab just to sell in the future, because they usually go up in price by 150% to double the cost. So good investment to help pay off some of your other toys. Maybe that makes me a dirty scalper, but hey, I got to pay for these toys somehow. So all of that was announced today at San Diego Comic-Con. Not sure if there'll be more announced on Saturday, but if there is, I'll be back here again to give you another, maybe a part 2 update episode of what else is to come. I don't think we don't have to worry about any more pre-orders, I hope, because these are we've already got a list of pre-orders that are going to be coming out on Saturday. So, I don't know, my wallet's already going to be hurting enough. So give it a little bit of a break, Hasbro, but keep pumping out some cool figures. And until next time, stay strong.